sleeps probably on one of those awesome water beds in a tuxedo. Like he's got, he's one of those guys now.
Awesome waterbed.
Oh, yeah. I had one in high school.
Oh, I had a waterbed.
Yeah, that was very fancy.
It was not awesome.
All right, here we go. Best for last. We all know where you land as a quarterback matters. Josh Allen gets the Bills. Good GM, smart coach, flourishes. Lamar Jackson flourishes. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, really talented, rated higher than Lamar, Josh Allen, struggling. Why? Jets, Browns. So here we go. Best case, worst case, where a quarterback lands. Let's start with Joe Burrow. To me, the best case is the Miami Dolphins. He would not have to start day one. The knock on him is his arm it's good, it's not special. Warm weather. They added real pieces to the defense this year. He wouldn't have to be in shootouts. Byron Jones, Kyle Van Noy, Lawson. This is not a team with Brian Flores. He's going to spend a lot of his money on defense. And again, you get a veteran, Ryan Fitzpatrick, high IQ mentor. I think it's perfect. The worst case scenario is, frankly, the Bengals. Not a free agent destination, a cheap owner, a bad offensive line, and you play the outrageously gifted Steelers front seven, Raiders front seven and second, Ravens front secondary and front seven, and frankly, Myles Garrett, Cleveland Brown, Denzel Ward, very, very good front seven defensively. I think it's a bad fit for him, but that's where he's going. Next, Tua. Best case, Chargers. Don't have to start right away. Much like Alabama, he can be comfortable in knowing elite receivers. This is a system where they want to move the pocket, but are okay and comfortable with a pocket passer. That's what he is. Also, Tyrod Taylor. This is a secure adult, easy to work with, won't feel threatened. And again, this is an organization where he can sit back for a year with a lot of weapons. And in Los Angeles, he won't be the biggest star in town. There's not immense pressure to play right away. Worst case scenario, not to pick on Cincinnati, but the Bengals for the previous reasons. You got to play right away, not a very good offensive line, and you're going to be overwhelmed in your division. Justin Herbert. I think the best fit for him could be the Raiders. John Gruden loves strong-arm quarterbacks who throw it down the field. That's Justin Herbert. Derek Carr, very proficient, very productive, but he's not really a guy that can go deep, and I think Gruden loves that. Also, as long as Gruden is the coach with Josh Jacobs, you're going to have a world-class running game. And again, if Derek Carr is there, you go in for a year. He's a West Coast kid from Oregon to Vegas. He could feel very comfortable, same time zone. I think Justin Herbert Raiders would be special. Worst case scenario to me is the Jaguars. 3,000 miles from home, really a directionless franchise with a really bad O-line that appears to be tanking to get a quarterback. Jordan Love. I think Green Bay's great. He's a developmental quarterback. I'm told most of my guys think he needs to sit for 2 years. Now, maybe he grows rather quickly, but Green Bay gets the position right. There's no better guy to watch in practice than Aaron Rodgers. This is an organization that's going to address the wide receiver position over the next 2 years. So you're going to come into the organization with lots of young receivers you can grow with. And, Aaron's not playing forever. This feels like a grown-up organization with a world-class quarterback that's going to go heavy into young skill people. That's where they're a little deficient in the next 2 years, and you could grow with them. Worst case scenario, not picking on the Jaguars, but directionless. Don't know if you're going to have a new coach. They appear to be tanking. Bad offensive line. I'm not sure if they're in Jacksonville in 2 years. Jacob Eason. I think the best case for the Husky quarterback is New England. Eason's not going to be a great ad-libber. He needs a system. He needs protection. I think New England goes and gets him at the end of the first round. It's kind of fascinating. They protect their quarterbacks. They don't totally rely on their quarterbacks. Belichick behind Jarrett Stidham. You could roll with Jarrett Stidham for a year. If Eason beats him out in practice eventually, you move on. He's got a big arm, by the way. Great for New England weather. Worst case scenario, actually here I don't like him with the Dolphins. Dolphins, weather's not a concern with this kid. He's got an arm. He threw in Seattle's windy, rainy weather. He'd have to start fairly quickly. They're still in the process of a rebuild. I don't like him there. How about Jalen Hurts? Nobody's talking about Jalen Hurts. Best case, I actually think it's Arizona. I don't know if he's a starter in the NFL, but I do know that Kyler Murray and him, kind of prototypes, no pressure to start. But if you had to play early, this is a college offense in which Jalen Hurts has flourished in. The worst case scenario for him, I believe, is having to go anywhere where he starts day one. Anywhere. Now, I can say Baltimore for him is great, but I don't think Lamar Jackson is. I think that's his job for 10 years. Kyler Murray, up and down, it's going to last forever. Little smaller, gets dinged up. I think that's a great spot for Jalen Hurts. Good to have you in today. We had Rich Kleiman on earlier. He is Katie's business partner. He used to be his agent. He's done everything from hip-hop to sports. And we talked a lot about KD. And one of the things I addressed with him was Kevin Durant. I say, I like Kevin, but he's sensitive. And Rich pushed back a little on that.
I think that Kevin honestly enjoys the banter the same way you sit with the microphone and enjoy the conversations. Kevin enjoys that banter with people on social media, and that's honestly why these platforms were created. I think he's really ahead of his time because I think when he started it, everybody thought he was nuts and sensitive, and everyone wanted to know why he would ever stoop to this level. And then you see everybody doing it. I mean, it's just kind of the way of the world, and he grew up in this generation.
Yes.
I don't think it reflects how he's feeling.
We're going to put that entire interview on our podcast today. It was really interesting. And, it is funny, Joy, generationally, I'm not into this arguing back and forth on Twitter, but Nick Wright will argue back and forth, and Clay Travis will argue back and forth, and Doug Gottlieb will argue back and forth. And to me, here's my opinion. Do with it what you will. I have no interest screaming at people on social media, but I'm probably out of touch a little bit, right?
I don't know. I mean, I used to do it a lot more than I do now. Now, if I've got the time, I'll go back and forth. But it's a great deal of energy, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, it's something I think you should do sparingly because it can be draining. But it's fun, though. These are our fans.
See you tomorrow.